Yo, what's up, boys and girls? Swolelax here, and I'm back at it again with the video, something a little bit different. Welcome back, it's been a while. I recently went to the North American World Championship Qualifiers, and I gotta say, I had a lot of fun. Really, this was my first big event. I've never been to a regional, I've never been to a YCS. I've only really been to locals only a few times, so I've never actually had the real tournament experience. And for my first time, this was actually pretty great. Now, initially, me and my brother went down there and we're like, oh, let's go ahead and just do a structure deck or a starter deck tournament. It'll be kind of fun, win a mat, hang out, just kind of be around. That'll be neat. It's kind of cheap too, so we don't have to spend a whole lot of money. But last minute, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to win my invite for next year. For the 2019 North American World Championship Qualifier, I'm gonna do a region flight tournament. Never done one of these before in my life, never done a regional in my life, so I've never really had a true tournament. And I was like, on a whim, a gut feeling, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go do it. Now at this point I had a choice. I had two decks with me. I could either do Heroes or I could do Goki. So I went with Gokis because that was gonna get me my invite. Now initially with this video I was gonna explain to you my deck and go over my matches, kind of go through each and every one, how it worked, what happened, and then what ended up me winning and going all the way to finals, but we'll get there. But instead I kind of wanted to go over 5 lessons that I learned at my first ever WCQ and first ever large scale tournament, so you and me in the future don't make these mistakes again and come prepared. And that's actually gonna bring us to the first lesson, that's be prepared. Now, before the tournament even started, you have to write down your deck list, you kind of have to write down your name, register, obviously like pretty typical stuff. My advice to you is to print out a deck list the night before or get everything ready the night before, because when I got there, I was of course on a whim, so I was like, oh, you know, I'll be totally fine. Not knowing that I was missing several cards out of my deck, having to rearrange everything and having to remember everything from memory that went into my Goki deck. It took way longer than expected for me to sort out all my cards, write everything down, and then turn it into the table. To get you dueling as fast as possible, make sure you prepare yourself, get all your cards sorted out the night before if you don't want to write it down or if you can't print out a list, but most beneficial, make sure you have a deck list ready to go the day before the event. 1.5 technically is double check that list, because what ended up happening is before the event even started, I was shuffling my deck, counting my cards, doing some test hands, and I was like, huh, hold on one second, 35, 36, 37, 38. One more time. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Oh God. So I ran up to the table and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot 2 cards. Like, can I change it now? And she's like, yeah, no, it's totally fine. Luckily, the woman at the counter let me change it up, because sometimes you can't even do that. So make sure you double, even triple check your list to make sure you have everything down, count your deck, be prepared. Now that brings us into the tournament. Now game 1, I was facing a Dzeeff Pendulum player. That deck is super good. I'm not a fan because it's kind of obnoxious and I'm not really familiar with the cards, so I don't really know what they do, but I did my best. Now, unfortunately, when we were getting our combo going, he effect violated our Izzled back to Wizzled 2 Tails of the Noble Knights. However, because your boy Swolelax has the unfailing plot armor of an anime protagonist, we drew into Imperial Order and we were able to set it, pass, and as soon as he activated his first card, we flip up Imperial Order, and then he just scoops. So for game 2, I go into 2 hand traps and I stop his plays. He knows the Goki deck enough to where he just says, I'm done with this. And that's it, that's match 1. Your boy Swolelax is on the board, 1-0 in the tournament so far. Sick. Now on to match number 2, I was playing against a true Draco player. Now, the first game I drew like garbage. I had 2 effect violators, my Ibly, a Moon Mirror Shield, and I think it was like a Solemn Warning. So not the best hand per se, but what I did is I just effect violated and Moon Shield, and you know, on from there we go. Obviously he won the first game. I could not have won that first game with that. I scooped pretty much turn 2. I was like, all right, I'm done. Game 2 comes around and I'm able to set up a nice board. He can't break the board, so he scoops from there. We go into a nice and quick game 3. Now game 3 is actually pretty exciting. He lays down Dragonic Diagram, he summons out Mono Awado, and then he continues to set 3 cards face down. Now Mono Awado goes back to his hand after the end phase. He doesn't tribute summon. I'm kind of confused. I'm like, okay. I activate Hornet Drones. He flips Rival of the Warlords, which means I can only control one type of monster, which is A-okay with me because luckily the Hornet Drones is a warrior type monster. So that opens up the plays for all sorts of shenanigans. So what I do from there, I summon 2 Goki monsters, I think it was Suprex and Twist Cobra. Tribute Twist Cobra, give Suprex a buff in attack points, and then resummon the Twist Cobra with Monster Reborn, and I swing for 5,000 damage. Now all I gotta do is put up 3,000. That's not super hard, and I'm pretty sure he only has a mono in his hand. Now he goes. I'm kind of scared though, because he can activate Dragonic Diagram, search a True Draco monster, and then kind of wreck my plays, but that's not what happens. He summons a mono, he attacks Twist Cobra, and then a mono brings back to his hand, he end phases. without activating Dragonic Diagram. Yeah, I was hyped too. This brings us to lesson number 2, which is remember to activate your effect. That was the chance right there where he probably could have won and taken the whole entire match, but because he forgot to activate Dragonic Diagram, he busted out, which was unfortunate because he probably should have won that match. I just kind of got lucky. Unfailing plot armor. Now on to the next match. I was fighting against a Trickstar player. Now I hate Trickstars, think they're obnoxious, they win for absolutely no reason. And Trickstar 3 Incarnation is not banned, nor is it limited, so gosh, that card's so obnoxious and annoying. So first game, he burns me for half my life points. And so things are looking pretty bleak. I have no real way of winning, so we kind of play a couple turns later and I lose. And no big D, that one kind of goes out for a little while, which is important because game 2 comes around, and game 2 is real long. So he stops him from making my combos, I stop him from making his combos, and we kind of end up with these really unorthodox boards. Now, we're both taking pretty long with our turns because we're having to think through this stuff because it's not what we're used to in terms of playing against these decks. Now we go into time. He's currently up 1-0 in the set, but Judge comes over. I have 1,300 life points and he has 1,200 life points. So I'm sitting pretty at a 1 win right there. That's a 1-1 tie in the match. So we have 1 overtime game to go into, which here's where lesson number 3 comes in. Know the rules. The rules state that if it's tied in the set, both players go into a 4-round game, 2 turns each. Whoever has less life points after those 4 turns are up loses the game. I did not initially know this, and so we were just gonna be playing turn by turn and see who had least life points left. But a mysterious stranger out of nowhere says, wait a minute, Judge, that's not right. Here's what the written rules say, and then goes on to explain the 2 turns each 4-turn thing, blah, blah, blah. Judge goes over the table, comes back and says, yep, checks out. Looks like you guys are playing that way. So Trickstar guy's like, and I'm like, yes. Because honestly, I don't think I would have won if we went to a game 3 inside the regular matches, and if we were playing that way, I for sure would not have won against Trickstar. So I win the dice roll, I go first. I open up with Imperial Order again. I'm thinking, yes. Yes, this is amazing. Now, somehow I end up with a board of Nightmare Phoenix co-linked with Nightmare Cerberus. So he can't destroy my monsters by battle and he can't destroy my monsters by card effects. I've got Imperial Order set on the field, so he can't activate Light Stage, he can't activate anything like that. He really can't hit over my monsters. The only thing he can do, theoretically, is burn me after I draw cards, which I'm not gonna do, I'm just gonna start attacking. So, turn 2 goes up, he doesn't really do anything, I think he sets 2, and then he passes. I'm like, all right, sick. So, that means turn number 3, that's me. I attack him for as much damage as I can. And then turn number 4 comes up for him, he can't do anything. So the game's over, I have more life points than him, we shake hands, fist bump, peace out. Your boy is in the finals, undefeated so far. Oh my God. Those were some long matches, and our mysterious bystander looked over me and he was like, Swolelax, you realize you lost that game 3 times? It was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off. And that brings us into the finals of this region tournament. Your boy Swolelax is in it, and who do I see across the table from me but the young Doug Dzeeff. That's right, Dzeeff himself is facing off against me in the finals. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the guy. He's super cool. I really enjoyed talking with him about YouTube, about Yu-Gi-Oh!, just kind of go back and forth, joking a little bit. It was a really good time. And we played our matches, and I got bodied. And it was really funny too, is because the first game was like a no contest. He went first. I couldn't really do anything in setup. He's playing Altergeist, so that kind of shuts down my deck in a lot of ways if I didn't come prepared. And then game 2 came along. It was a little bit longer. We were almost, in a way, negating each other's stuff and breaking board, kind of. But I ended up losing that one too. So it was relatively a quick 2-0 and a handshake. And it's kind of funny because this brings us on to the 4th lesson that I learned at the WCQ, and that is learning how to properly side deck. This whole entire time, I went into this tournament with only 2 cards in my side deck, and that is 2 copies of Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode, which I didn't even put into the deck when I side decked out anytime. I don't think I even messed with it. I was like, I'm just gonna go with my main deck. And after the finals were over with Dzeeff, after he won, he was like, you know, if you just had a proper side deck, or if you knew how to side deck correctly against Altergeist, you probably could have won. And he's probably not wrong. A few copies of Twin Twisters, a few copies of Red Reboot in there. I think I could have done pretty well, but unfortunately, c'est la vie. I had a really great time at the WCQ. I think this is gonna make me want to go out to stuff like the regionals, the YCSs, the kind of larger events. That way I can get a little more practice and kind of get a little more familiar with certain procedures. Going through on matches was super fun. Hanging out with you guys was super cool. The event space was really nice. Honestly, it didn't smell like a locals did, which was kind of cool. And I learned the 5th and most important lesson at this entire event, and that is you can't beat the Dzeeff. But what? Maybe that's just me. What do you guys think of the WCQ? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you go? Do you have any cool duel stories, even from other tournaments? I would love to hear them. If you guys liked the video, make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Got more videos coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that if you want to. Huge shout outs for Dzeeff for being such a cool guy, and for everyone that I saw there. You guys were super cool too. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace out. Oh, and next time I see you in bracket, I'm coming for you.